Today in the crypto space, we're seeing a bit of a pullback throughout the market. Bitcoin down approximately 1%, right around that $70,000 mark. Ethereum down approximately 2%, right around that $3,600 level. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, mix of green and red. Aptos looking pretty good. Dog with Pad, ICP, FET doing pretty good. However, there are some dips. Look at Phantom, Caspa, Altcoin, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one new project that is looking pretty good and looking for an expansion move to the upside, and that project is called Cheqd. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Of course, guys, feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Let's take a look at the general market first. We'll kind of scrape through this top 100, get a sense of what the market is looking like. We can see that the overall market cap is still looking pretty good at about $2.8 trillion, more or less. And the overall volume is taking a bit of a dip, as well as the market cap, of course. But, you know, let's see what happens in the next little while. Because Bitcoin right now is kind of looking for some support. It's right around that $70,000 level. It does look like it wants to retrace in the short term. It could be very possible. Ethereum also showing a bit of weakness in the short term. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are kind of dipping down as well. BNB taking a bit of a dip. Solana, small retracements. Now, could this translate into a bigger move to the downside, led by Bitcoin getting rejected? You know, Bitcoin getting rejected right now is not a good look. It potentially look like a confirmation high, a lower high, you know, the beginning of a change of character within the structure. As of now, Bitcoin has been making some really good moves to the upside, looking very strong, higher highs and higher lows all the way up. Now, if we start changing that character, where we start seeing a lower high and potentially lower lows, the trend is your friend, guys. And most of the time the trend is your friend, but then when it's not, it goes the other way. And what we could be looking at is right now potentially seeing Bitcoin get into some sort of distribution or a pivot point of some sort for some sort of dip. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, because as of now, everything is great. You know, Bitcoin is still doing well. Still, the structure is still intact, still making higher highs and higher lows. But in the short term, we're getting a bit of weakness here. So we'll take a look at Bitcoin, of course. We'll continue looking at the top 100 here, and then we'll take a look at Cheqd, the project that I want to kind of introduce here, because I feel like it could be ready for a move to the upside eventually. And it's in a nice, very strong accumulation range. Let's continue going down here. So the trend in general, as you can see, as we keep on scrolling down, is making higher highs and higher lows. Slow grind to the upside. In the short term, meaning just today, in the last little while, we have been getting a bit of a correction. Altcoin coming down 8%. But look at the big picture, guys. It has been grinding significantly to the upside in the last little while. So what we have to understand is that, yes, we do make some good gains, and we could get some dips, and the dips, you know, do happen, and we need to be prepared for it. And it's just the beginning, right? It's very likely that we come back up and test the highs again, and potentially start making confirmations that we are going to roll over, and so on and so forth. But you can see throughout the market, the trend is still our friend. We are still grinding upwards. Look at ICP up 14%, bullishness in the last little while, up 65% in 7 days, guys. Really, really good there. We have Litecoin waking up a little bit, up 14.8%. And of course, there's a bit of FUD throughout the market with regards to Litecoin, Ethereum, given the fact that, you know, there's a lawsuit hanging around now against KuCoin. Guys, if you missed out on that news, I would suggest that you follow me on Twitter. I did talk about that. The Discord, we've been talking about it. And of course, we'll talk about it tonight live at 7:30 Eastern, where we can go over the implications of, you know, what's happening with KuCoin in the FUD, and what could that translate to for the crypto space in general. But let's continue going down here. We do have some continuations to the upside. Render kind of going sideways here like a stable coin. Render has been a great performer in the last little while, so for it going sideways for a little bit, taking a bit of a break is totally fine. And we can see what else do we have. BitTensor as well, same thing, guys. BitTensor has been a great performer, and to see it take a break is totally fine. People are going to de-risk on any signs of risk, any signs of negativity. People will be taking profits, guys, especially on these top gainers here. We're talking about BitTensor, guys. We called BitTensor at about $40, slightly under, and all of a sudden we start looking at Render. We called Render very early here on the channel, and it's been running. So seeing both of these pretty much in tandem go sideways just leads me to believe that there is individuals that are, protective of their gains, and that's totally normal and acceptable. Obviously, you should be doing the same thing. If there's some fat gains anywhere on these trades, make sure that you take profit up to top. VeChain looking pretty good. Caspa going sideways, another one that I don't expect much from, given that it did a great job already. Thorchain looking hot, trying to break out of its previous high, up 20%, and the list goes on here. A lot of great price action going. Arweave looking good. FET doing great today, and continuation. You can see that a lot of the price action is pretty much cookie cutter, pretty much the same. They all look very similar. So the overall consensus for me right now in this market is that the bullish sentiment is still here. Now, do we start breaking structure to the downside, guys? We got to pay attention to the 4 hour. We got to pay attention to that daily, and of course what you got to do is join me live tonight at 7:30, because we can go over the possibilities. Okay, it's all about probability, no certainties here, but the general market right now is still poised to the upside. We do have some sideways, like even Akash network is kind of going sideways. It's a great opportunity to potentially accumulate, but that's the thing, guys. We still should be hunting for opportunities for a continuation to the upside. Even if Bitcoin does retrace, we have to be looking for those bottom dwellers. We have to be looking for those healthy risk to reward ratio opportunities, because those are the opportunities that are going to put us in the green. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on here with Bitcoin? On the daily, you know what? It's still within range. It's not really doing much. It's going sideways. I expected a bounce, and we got it. Now I'm expecting a bit of a rejection, and guess what, guys? We're kind of getting it. It doesn't mean that it's actually going to get rejected, but right now we're getting a bit of a resistance. We can see a few wicks there. Those 2 wicks not looking good. It could be a tweezer top type of scenario where we do get that rejection and come back to the bottom of the range, and eventually, perhaps we can get into some sort of consolidation, that looks triangular. And guys, that's where I will be prepared for a potential breakout. Now, when we see consolidations like this, symmetrical triangles, even if it's ascending or descending, yes, they do have their bias. Continuation patterns are usually, are triangular, and then we wait for the expansion as we get closer to the apex of the triangle. But, as of now, we're kind of early on the daily to kind of be calling those kind of shots. What we do see is that we did get a bounce, and we're potentially contending with this retracement that looks like, if I eyeball it, it does look like a nice 786 or 886 retracement, swing high to swing low. You can see the price actions hitting that 786 and getting a bit of a rejection, which is totally fine. At this stage in the game, I am aware that a lot of individuals are heavy into alts, that are interested in altcoins. And if you are altcoin, if your portfolio is full of altcoins, what you really want to do is understand that we need to go sideways here for a bit more accumulation before we get that expansion. And in the meantime, we'll see those altcoins run. Boring Bitcoin price means that, all eyes on altcoins, and we'll potentially get that altcoin season. If we get onto the 4 hour, we can see that we got pretty much overbought at a similar level that we were in the past. So this is where you got to get, very defensive. This is where you're going to understand that holding a long position could be risky. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't break out and continue, but what it does mean is that if you got in at the levels that I was suggesting, right around 62,900, guys, I let you know on the Discord that was a great moment to start going long, and then all of a sudden this is where we're at. If you got in around these levels, you want to protect those gains, guys. That's a reality, because if we get a retracement within this consolidation and we come back down even a 786, 886, you never know how deep we could go here. It is possible that it will test your entries. So what you want to kind of do is understand your time frame. If your time frame is, big picture, you want to accumulate in this level for an expansion to the upside, DCA at every bottom, DCA accumulate. And understand your invalidation. Right now, the only invalidation that we have is at about $60,900. This previous low, we break below this low, it's not looking good. But as of now, we could take every dip as an accumulation opportunity. However, guys, if you got in on lower time frames on the 4-hour, which is what I'm suggesting, or which I did suggest, it's based off of this bounce, and we fulfilled the bounce by breaking out of this inverse head and shoulder. Yes, it's slanted, but it's totally valid. And then all of a sudden we hit our target. So if it hit your target, guess what you got to do? You got to get defensive on your gains, because really the market's going to want to hunt that liquidity and get it back into the market and take those gains away from you. So get defensive. Now, if we get back onto the daily, you can see that the daily momentum is still pushing to the downside. We could get oversold here. You know, the MACD looks like it wants to get across, and it could be that it gets across to the upside and continues in the bullish control zone to the upside. But at the end of the day, we know that the EMAs are still down, facing down, and the momentum on the RSI is still kind of down. And I'm still, you know, a bit worried of the fact that maybe we even do make a higher high here on Bitcoin, but the momentum is still diverging, class A bearish divergence. And eventually we get into a huge distribution phase for a dip. Either way, it doesn't matter. I am still looking for healthy retracements in the altcoin market, bottom level price action in the altcoin market, because even if Bitcoin does dip, those altcoins that are currently sitting at strong horizontal levels of support are likely not to get huge dips. And that's what I'm looking for. And I will be happy to accumulate at slightly lower levels. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at Cheqd. I want to take a look at this project because I've seen multiple projects go sideways in the last little while within a range similar to this one. What it kind of defines to me is that there's a lot of market participation in this level, and the horizontal support is great. A lot of clarity here on this project. Now, you can see that we've tested the bottoms multiple times, 3 times, and now do we come down for another test? The reality is, if we do, you have to be able to react with a plan, right? That's the reality, and you got some good clarity to do that. This is a great buy the dip opportunity. Let me make this a bit smaller. Definitely a great opportunity because we did hold support there within this range multiple times, and you can see that market participation is definitely interested. Look at all this volume, and you know, you can cross-reference it with all the volume down here, that this area is an accumulation range at the moment. Now, if we do happen to fall through the volume gap for whatever reason, you know, the markets are not going to always agree with you, and you got to be prepared. The next level of horizontal support that I really like is this level right here, which is at about 7.8 cents. We got the previous highs right here. We got the bottom of a potential volume gap, and we got the point of control at this level. I am interested. If we do come down to this zone, I wouldn't mind DCAing in building my position. The RSI right now is in the chop zone. The MACD is trying to get that EMA cross to the upside. I'm hoping that it does get it and continue staying in the bullish control zone, because as it continues going sideways, what we're really doing is building up the pressure. It's like a pressure pot right here, where we got a lot of bullish bids trying to accumulate in this level for the anticipation that it breaks the range and eventually gets into price discovery. And guys, we've seen this happen multiple times across the market on many projects that I've been covering on the channel the last little while, some of which, okay, Ondo is one of them, and many others, guys. We've even seen sideways accumulation, lots of market participation, and then the run. I'm curious on what the stochastic looks like. We came from oversold conditions. We could be getting a bit of a fake out and then continuation to overbought, but the reality is every time we leave oversold conditions, you can see that we get nice reactions from the market to the upside. So we got to take full advantage of this opportunity that we potentially are accumulating for that expansion. Let's take a look at the 4-hour real quick here. You can we got overbought, but we're oversold on the stochastics already. So that's the thing. We can't rely on the RSI completely all the time, especially when the trend is very clear. You can see that we're oversold conditions. We're potentially getting there, but the RSI is already reset, and the MACD's EMAs are already coming down. So let's wait for a confirmation here on the 4-hour. We could come down to test the bottom of the range again and DCA into this level. Green arrow, accumulate, be prepared for that pop to the upside. And you can see on the 4-hour, we're trying to stay above the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, which is bullish if it does. And I want to see where this thing is trying to hold above the EMAs. The 20 and the 50 are potentially going to hold support. here on the daily. So I'm trying to bounce between the daily and the 4 hour, and I'm seeing that the 4 hour is very predictable. As you can see, the range is very clear, and the 4 hour is a great time frame to start looking for entries, and we are very close to the bottom of the range already. So risk to reward is somewhat healthy here. You're not even buying the mid zone, the heart line of this sideways channel. You're definitely not at the top. Your invalidation is basically if we break below 8.6 cents, 8.7 cents, you can put your stop loss, or you can get in with an appropriate position size at these levels, at the current level, and just be committed to DCA, deploying capital over time, and that way you can drag your average cost down. And then when we get the bounce eventually, or the breakout, you'll have some skin in the game to claim those profits. Okay, so technically what I'm trying to say is join the rest of the market. If you're fundamentally bullish on the project, the rest of the market that is getting involved, the market participants, are definitely accumulating at this level. So not bad. Just keep in mind that the MACD, you know, is EMAs are facing down here on the 4 hour. Maybe we continue down, so you might want to get a bit of a confirmation on the MACD that it's ready to continue to the upside. Wait for that bullish cross, the EMA cross, and maybe one little green histogram bar might give you that overall bullish sentiment that we're ready to break out here, because this thing should break out eventually, and then it's too late. Okay, that's really what we have to understand. And then it could come down and break to lower levels. That's why I anticipate this and I'm prepared for it. But I know that the market is still bullish. You see it in the volume. You see it in the fact is that we are up in a bull run, and we do know that the halvings are around the corner. And in the last moments of building positions are the most important, and this could be it. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. And of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'll see you tonight at 7:30 Eastern. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.